so we got to talk about Fred Savage. A lot of you definitely have an opinion on this. Fred Savage was fired as executive producer and director from the reboot of The Wonder Years. Now, according to Deadline, Fred was fired following multiple complaints of misconduct. A rep for 20th Television said the studio was recently made aware of allegations of inappropriate conduct by Fred, but did not go into detail on what the allegations entailed. So back in 2018, a costume designer on his show, The Grinder, filed a lawsuit accusing him of verbally assaulting and physically abusing her. Fred denied the allegations, and the case was settled out of court. Fred and his Wonder Years co-star, Jason Hervey, were hit with a sexual harassment suit filed by a costumer. That case also settled out of court. Now, as of this taping, Fred has not commented on the allegations. We did reach out to his people. Mary Lou, I know you worked with his brother. What are you thinking? Did you have any odd experiences or heard anything?
Not at all. I mean, and you never heard this about Fred. I didn't anyway, and you know, and I'm pretty wired in, but I never heard anything. And I'm very curious about, and listen, I think all people should be listened to completely, the accusers especially, you know, and I feel like what's really going on here. And it's interesting that we aren't told, so you can't even really form an opinion. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I want to know, he and you know, Jason were like little boys then, so I'm curious what that was all about.
Yeah. Well, listen, you know, we do, to get more on this story, we are joined by civil rights attorney Anahita Sedaghatfar. Okay, Anahita, first and foremost, I just want to say hello to you. I've known you for a long time, full disclosure. Great to see your face. So what do you make of these recent allegations against Fred Savage?
Good to see you too, Sam. These allegations, this was a long time coming. I'm frankly not surprised. When my client came to me in 2018 with her allegations against Mr. Savage, we conducted our investigation and we heard about prior complaints against Mr. Savage. I think the complaints went back to the 90s. We also found during our investigation that other women on the set of The Grinder similarly were abused by Mr. Savage, and apparently nothing was done by the work. And it's truly unfortunate that it took my client having to speak out, and apparently 3 others had to come and speak out before some action was taken against him.
Wow. So what were some of the details surrounding your case against Fred back in 2018? Can you share that with us?
Yes. So my client was a costumer on the set of The Grinder. She worked directly with Mr. Savage, and she alleged in her complaint that he engaged in a pattern and practice of abuse, of harassment, of bullying, cursing at her. And she alleges, Sam, that she did what we tell all victims to do. She complained to her superiors, and they did absolutely nothing about it.
So your lawsuit came at the height of the Me Too movement just 4 years ago. So 4 years later, Fred is being accused of misconduct again. What does that say in your eyes?
Well, I am a huge supporter, as Sam knows, of the Me Too movement. I have devoted essentially my entire career to representing victims of harassment discrimination. And, you know, collectively, we said at the height of the movement, as a society, that no more will we tolerate victims being blamed. No more will victims not believed. No more will abusers who are in power get away with this. What I said back then, and I continue to say, is we still have a lot of work to do.
Well, yeah, that leads me to my question, because obviously there's going to be a legal challenge coming from these recent allegations, but who's going to be implicated? Are we talking about just Mr. Savage? Are we talking about the studio? Like, who could possibly be implicated in this?
That's a great question, and I can tell you, I predict there will be some civil lawsuits here against Mr. Savage for the misconduct, also against the network, because in this country, in case people don't know, we have a right to work in a workplace free of discrimination, free of harassment. And if we complain to our boss or our employer and they do nothing about it, they are independently liable in court.
Anahita, we thank you for providing insight into this case. So great to see your face. We should know that we did, again, reach out to Fred Savage's reps for comment, but as of this taping, we have not heard back. Thank you, Anahita. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.